doesn't offer as much instant burst like something that we're so familiar with in the LPL. But we'll have to wait and see, because Yagao, he's shown us this LeBlanc before in the summer split, and it did great. So with a lot of mobility already getting locked in, I wouldn't be surprised if Shun goes for something like the, I would say, Viego. We've seen that before as well. An aggressive 2v2 in the mid lane could be the way to go.
Wei's going to go ahead and grab that Sejuani. We've seen skyrocket in priority. Just gives you a lot of skirmish power, but also a lot of help in that mid-jungle duo and the setup for the Nico. See what BLG you want to go ahead and grab. Would be curious. All right, well, they just do it. They go with double solo lanes to start off on blue side. So they're cooking up something.
I was excited for the top lane matchup, but I forgot that it's Renekton Jax meta, and Brave most likely will just pick something like the Jax as a response, as it is a slightly winning lane, or even the Cassandra depends on him. The Kindred comes out for Shun. Mazel, take it away. I know you love this guy on his Kindred.
Yeah, it's a treat every time I get to see him, man. We have seen him literally destroy games on this pick. And while we could say that about a lot of LPL junglers, for me, it's just a little special every time we get to see Shun on it. Because this guy's had not the greatest track record, right? Before BLG, he was between two literal world champions in the Shine rookie, and they could not find success. And it's been so awesome to see him find a home with BLG, but also them lean into his strengths. That's what makes BLG so lethal, is they can go with the tried and true meta. They can get Shun something that will give facilitation to the rest of the team. But then if they want to, they can just mollywop you with an aggressive carry for him.
Yeah, and the Kindred coming in for this first game up against RNG into the Sejuani as well. Wei is gonna have quite the difficult time locking down Shun on his Kindred, because he is just going to get kited to oblivion, especially alongside the LeBlanc getting locked in for Yagao as well. But we'll have to wait and see, because BLG, they're definitely lacking some sort of engage, or at least heavy, reliable CC. So he has to make up for that with the Rakan still up and available, but RNG most likely going to take that away as well. But if they don't, Zion Rakan can just get instantly locked in by BLG, but champions like the Ziggs still up and available, but it has to be also... I'm not too sure, because LP, he's also kind of adapted into the meta where we used to think he was an Aphelios one-trick back in spring, but it's really nice seeing him finding a home in RNG and also having those moments to shine alongside Tangyuan.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Obviously, LNG Academy alum, kind of a developmental piece that LNG was working on for a while, and coming over to RNG to take over from Kala, which is actually just insane to me. And he has had an incredible come up of a split here, especially. But want to see going into the sec phase, you do take away some of those big picks from BLG with the Melio and the Nautilus ban of RNG. But on the other side, they actually are the ones that ban away the Rakan, and they do also ban that Braum. So they'll look over at RNG, wondering what they're going to get for the counter pick here, as they'll save support right now for the counter pick. We've seen this actually rising as a trend, but it is the LP Aphelios coming right back out. So we were talking about not being one trick, but you know, if it's good, you pick it anyways.
All right. You know what's more iconic? It's On and his Blitzcrank. And I'm not going to be surprised if he just slams that and starts shutting down the Aphelios as soon as possible, as they take away one of the huge counters in that roam. So they're kind of predicting this. Elk, not too sure what he's going to lock in for this game one. It is going to be the Xayah. Oh, we still have the Alistar available. Oh, I mean, Alistar's also really fun. Yes, lock that in. I want to see the Blitzcrank. Yes! This is huge. This is the pick we wanted on. As LvMao locking in his career most played in the Leona as well. Fighting fire with fire. So hook the Leona in. It doesn't really matter, because LvMao, he is just going to stun you to the void. But BLG locking in this pretty crazy draft for this game one. A lot of comfort for these individual laners, as we see the Kindred coming out. We also have the LeBlanc, which Yagao has been experimenting on quite a bit, but they do have stability to lean back on in Elk and Bin on this Renekton. So we'll have to wait and see, because it is all about the early game and how RNG can really shut down this Kindred from those marks.
So I'm looking at the screen. I was waiting for like refs to come on and put blinders on the sides of the headsets of BLG, just so they make sure they're looking forward because BLG are doing nothing but that in this game. And it's going to be off the back of the trio in Bin, Shun, and Yagao. But it's also about on getting out or getting connected with them as well. I think Elk can play very safe with this Xayah. I think it was a perfect pick for them. But on the other side, you have a lot of safety in the team fight here. As we get into the series here, it is game number 1 between Bilibili Gaming and Royal Never Give Up. Feel like I can almost feel the tension through the screen as we get into it. A lot of fans out there roaring for RNG. Now we are onto the map again. Biggest spotlight for us coming into this one was the Wei versus Shun matchup. Shun has the Kindred, and it will be about Wei trying to skirmish, trying to stop these mark gains, and be a nuisance to BLG.
I mean, for tonight, BLG, they had 2 approaches to the series. Either one, stick to what they're comfortable with and what has been receiving those wins for them that has been working so well, like the Wukong, like the Rel. Oh, the hook lands on the LvMao, but I don't think it's going to result into too much. Both Glacials getting procced out as LP utilizing that range advantage. But back to the conversation, I feel like Shun, he has just looked at Sejuani getting locked in for a Wei, and it is a direct counter for his pocket pick, so he's gonna have a banger of a time looking for those invades, but he really needs on out of the lane to act as that kind of follow-up if he wants to bully out RNG's jungler.
One of the biggest things I always look for BLG is, do they have things that can either get priority in lane or link up successfully with Shun if they do go with this aggressive style? And I think right now that was all they focused on early on in the draft. And we'll see how they can utilize that, though, because I know when you were talking about it, the kind of priority on the LeBlanc, it is interesting. You want to go for that static shift very early. But Tangyuan on the other side, he'll have a ton of influence if he can get just a little bit of resources and be able to use these pop blossoms once he hits level 6 to get huge catch-outs.
Yeah, you're trading quite a lot when you do take the LeBlanc because you desperately rely on that static shiv first item spike to get that priority up against Nico, because Nico is probably the best champion at having that first initial move in the mid lane. Just how fast her clears from the EQ, as it's going to be under expectation that BLG Yagao, he is going to be kind of pressured in that mid lane once the wave push bounces back. What's happening in top lane? We have a bit of a truce going on.
Dirty farm! You just gotta go for the proxy, you know? Sometimes you just feel like it. I like how early Breathe is going for it too. He knows the tempo of the map right now.
He reads Shun so well, as we did have also very early wards getting placed down. Wei, once again, we talked about how this is a characteristic, playing towards that top side and playing for Breathe, securing that pressure onto this Jax, as he's going to look for a gank.
Bin wants to try to punish. You know Bin wants to take the fight now. Wei is here, hasn't been spotted out yet. Now we actually see on the other side the Scuttle Crab going down. Shun will lose the RNG to the north side Scuttle Crab.
Alright, I see what you did there. They lost the RNG up against RNG. Okay, Mazel. I was
you know, I'm just sitting here now. I'm just chilling.
We are chilling, as we do have Scuttle for Scuttle trade, while the bottom lane did eventually get that push to allow Shun to secure that bottom side Scuttle, but we already see the map kind of getting split off, and this is exactly what we expected out of this composition. But once again, it is level 6 that BLG is slowly waiting for. We really need the Lamb's Verdict to come down for Shun, and then they can start looking for those 5v5 forces. But if you look at RNG's composition, they have so much AoE, so the Kindred pick, the ult has to be perfect, and it has to be after everything's been stacked up by RNG.
And I'm wondering now how much priority we do get around this early dragon. It is an early Hex tech dragon, so not giving us the soul, all right. We don't get the arcane buff on this map. But with Wei already pathing back down to this bot side and some of the push that's going to end up coming through here for RNG, I wonder if they can capitalize on it a little bit.
We do have all summoners available, but with Wei being here first, they can just look for deep vision towards this bottom side jungle and then start looking to get that first dragon into their pockets. I believe I was looking at the statistics, and RNG are first in securing first dragon, while Shun most likely going to trade. He's just trying to dodge out Wei as much as possible in this early game and just safely full clear until he hits that level 6. But I think top lane is also very interesting because Jax vs Renekton, a huge skill matchup for Bin. He has to act around that counter-strike. But it is possible to look for early leads onto Breathe. And Breathe has been a little bit on and off in terms of recent games, but have to wait and see because I feel like top lane, a very snowbally matchup to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how this matchup played out last series as well. It gets a little interesting as the game goes on. We do see RNG actually getting that early dragon, so they're setting up some early stacking for themselves, which I appreciate, especially with the way they played through the bot lane. See, Yagao, though, is on that shard now. We'll be getting close to a lot of pressure from the mid lane, and that's where I do want to see some, you know, push and move style stuff coming out from BLG here coming up.
Yeah, you do see great vision setup by the side of RNG towards that bottom side bush, spotting out Shun, walking over the Raptor as well. Wei is in the mid lane.
A little bit of beta Reno as there's the pop blossom. Yagao at the outplay, but bot lane. It is a gank and LP's trying to dodge out, but he should just give his life first blood to Elk. He's so handsome, but then it is the trade back to Shun at least as LvMao able to get one and maybe buying enough time here. Does Wei actually come down here and get a double? Oh, LvMao, you gotta be really careful. The fact that LvMao doesn't have a health bar anymore is really big. Elk wants the outplay. Elk is the kind of guy to step up, but he might have just stepped into his own death. And that is Wei picking up the kill. We had first blood, but then it got real bloody afterwards in bot lane.
Mazel Tangyuan died in mid lane after that whole exchange. What is happening in the bottom side of this game
I gotta see that solo.
But the biggest trade-off is that LvMao was the one to pick up that kill in the 2v2 in the bottom lane, while Elk gets his kill, as I believe I just saw on pick up that Moby boost. It is just the flash E into securing that hook onto LP as well, and flash is committed by BLG. They were so sure on this skirmish going their way, while Yagao was occupying the jungle and mid laner of RNG, of course, with that really flashy play. But we'll have another look at what happened here. Yagao is completely out of mana, so I'm so curious on how he got this kill.
He connected the chain.
He just auto-Q order? He just ordered him to death.
Fade away.
Buddy, I don't know if you should be dying there.
Oh, Tangyuan, no, not like this. Shun's eating good.
Is eating good, but Elk, I mean, he doesn't have the flash available, so he is going to get completely zoned off 2 waves here. You see Wei making a revisit towards his bottom side, putting so much pressure onto Elk, but this is kind of what we predicted coming to this game one. Elk should be the one on the weak side, while Shun securing that Rift Herald as well. But LP just got 3 plates into his pockets. I don't know if this is worth.
That's a lot of gold given over to an Aphelios. Yagao will try to get a capitalization down here as On's coming back to lane, but I don't think there's anything here for him as LvMao is actually waiting as well. On looking for the hook, doesn't find it on LP, stepping out of the way there. And there's some fight back between these two, and this is some life I like to see from RNG. Shun trying to go for a bit of a behind the Baron pit play on a breathe. Or just a little bit of aggression in the enemy jungle. We'll see a replay in quick succession of exactly how Tangyuan got caught out.
Yep, it was just, I mean, BLG waltzing their way into the enemy jungle, although On was spotted out on that ward. Him having the Moby's boots getting picked up from the hook lands again onto LB. He dead.
Oh, that feels so bad. He even has the Blitzcrank emote there. And it's just BLG's bot lane having a bit of fun. And 2 deaths to LP now.
I'm so happy that BLG, they averted away from the Alistair and they decided to bless us with On's Blitzcrank. There's a reason why BLG, I mean, they're confident players, but definitely on his iconic champion like the Blitzcrank got them to that distance into the spring finals, and I'm excited to see how they will do repeating that kind of process for the second half of the year. But the Everfrost is going to be slowly picked up by the support of BLG as we still have the camera towards his top side, the Rift Herald in hand, so if Breathe isn't careful and he dies here, that's a lot of plates going into Bin's pockets.
It is. I believe Shun just actually got a mark. I think it was the first time the Scuttle Crab went his way with the mark there, so nicely done. But I will also just say that Yagao has the static shiv now. And Shun is automatically looking topside. There is not much here for Breathe. You have to find a way out. He does have the flash, but Shun will make his presence known as the wave should get crashed here. I don't actually know if they're going to commit for it.
Yeah, you do have the support and jungle slowly rotating towards this top side as a desperate help, but Shun most likely going to place down that Rift Herald as well. On's looking for it.
Tried to go for the combo, but Breathe goes back in. This is an
the
overextension
flash
from
from Bin?
BLG, but doesn't matter. Bin goes down. You got the TP coming through here, and Yagao's pretty strong with the static shiv. I'd be a little careful, but RNG punished BLG, who were playing pretty zealously.
That was a little bit too much confidence from Bin after On's hook misses from that initial play, but the Rift Herald doesn't get dropped by Shun, so that does buy them a lot of time and also an extra kill into the pockets of Wei, while Elk is just slowly getting out-farmed by the Aphelios with how many plates is going into Tangyuan and LP's hands in this early game. But now both teams are going to reset for the Dragon. However, we still have... Is it the Lamb's Verdict? What's the Kingdom
Lamb's
ult
Respite.
called? Lamb's ult. I don't know how you say the second word.
Lamb's Respite.
God, I have a problem with saying
you.
junglers' ultimate names, but Breathe, he's struggling this top side.
Oh my goodness.
Yagao,
He wanted it. He got it.
Oh my God!
He won't die. He won't survive from the triumph there, but that was an incredible moment. A double solo kill goes to Yagao and to Breathe as the Dragon went to RNG. BLG will pop this Rift Herald in mid lane to try to get a couple more plates for Bin.
I like how Yagao for this game one, he is just going full fun. He doesn't care if he trades 1-for-1, but he is testing his limits on this LeBlanc and just solo killing the top lane of RNG, while LP, you have the flash available. Can you get out of here?
Nice, he's able to get away. And I like your point about Yagao and the LeBlanc, right? This is something he has made as nightmare fuel for other mid laners in the LPL, right? This is his second most played champ of all time, but it's also something he's been able to capitalize on in big moments. And now that static shiv is a thing, I feel like every time I see this guy, he's playing so slippery, he's playing so aggressively, and he provides so much pressure on the map that's so hard to deal with. And while on RNG side you have Breathe on the Jax, this means that BLG have a little bit of a playing room with the side lane pressure.
Yeah, and I love Yagao's journey so far into 2023 because if you compare BLG to JDG, Yagao was probably the most critiqued player as he was consistently getting compared to players like Knight who were extremely flashy in lane, but Yagao's always been more team-oriented. He was there as utility, but with these meta changes and the introduction of Jace and LeBlanc, we even had that interview from him earlier where carry mid laners are being viable in the meta right now, and he's really finding his kind of light in these games and kind of shutting the haters up.
Now we gotta check out how he continues to carry this little bit of an advantage he got. Again, we were talking about the Nico versus LeBlanc, the priority they gain. Tangyuan hasn't been able to really find any big advantage, but he will have those big pop blossoms coming up. It's always something to watch out for. As Shun is looking bot side to continue pressuring LP and LvMao.
We do have a bit of a side trading going on for the time being. Bin doesn't have that flash available, so he has to be a little bit careful with how he trades health against Breathe as well, as he has no idea that Sejuani is just around the corner. Don't look bot side. You don't want to be RNG's bottom lane right now.
No. LP got the message. Maybe LvMao. Okay, he's gonna come back. All right, they're gonna pull off. All right, nothing's too crazy. Nothing too crazy. RG lifted tail, another tail. And it's just going to be a little bit of mercy, I feel like, from BLG there.
Yeah, I mean, so far, although we have 9 kills for the first 14 minutes, I feel like we haven't seen too much out of the jungle and support out of BLG just quite. I feel like usually if you look at a BLG game, I mean, the game's pretty much over by the 15-minute mark, but Shun is still trying to find that first huge team fight of how he denies the amount of CC and wombo combos that RNG need to stack onto the AD carries of BLG, but I love On. On is the only support that will waltz around the map with the Moby Boots, not giving a single care in the world because he just has so much confidence. He's literally
by himself right now.
He's solo warding right now. Wei could just go in and probably throw the ultimate onto him and he has to burn the flash. That's
LvMao. Maybe not the target you want, but honestly, Elk is shredding him there. You do get a nice little bit of trade back of damage though from Tangyuan, who is still on Nico. The solar flare did go wide. He did get the flash out of LvMao.
And don't mind Yagao as he is just starting to destroy the map through these towers on the static shiv LeBlanc, of course, but
that's going to be a constant.
It is going to be a constant, so RNG, they need to cut the bleeding as fast as possible as they just gave over the second Rift Herald over towards BLG as well. And this game, BLG, they're looking to close it out early with how they're kind of executing the composition so far, while RNG, they're still desperately relying on those item spikes, specifically for Breathe and LP, of course. But we'll have to wait and see. RNG, they need to cut the bleeding and they need to slow down the game through the macro.
And again, when we were coming into it, the biggest focus for us was what can Wei do and how does he work between, Tangyuan, Breathe, but especially facilitating a little bit for LP, who has been a pretty mainstay carry for them so far. And we haven't seen as much influence as maybe need. He is 1-0-1. He did just get the Radiant Virtue, and he'll have a lot of strength in like the decision making for RNG. A lot of the decisive engages will come through his Glacial Prison, and I think that's a perfect place for Wei to be.
Most definitely, as we do have a bit of an exchange in this top side, but the dragon is going to be spawning in 20 seconds on. He just needs to look for one hook, and LvMao not having that flash available is going to be so incredibly scary. But I feel like the highlight of this team fight still has to be how Tangyuan's going to be able to lock down this LeBlanc as fast as possible before she starts chipping down at the health bars of RNG.
One big Pop Blossom can make the difference. Rift Herald is popped up in mid lane, though, as it should be able to take this outer tower. Maybe another charge coming through that RNG will have to deal with. LP is there right now, but this does mean that RNG are not really set up for the team fight necessarily. They're bringing Breathe over. You got Yagao backing with a TP available, locked and ready to go.
We have a reset from the two top laners that were just there, but like I said, Yagao on this static shiv LeBlanc, he needs to be stopped as fast as possible, and they need to chain up their CC perfectly onto this guy. Hook lands.
Yeah, you got a nice little engage with the Moonlight Vigil layered over top. There's the Lamb's Respite, buying time for Yagao to find the backline. Big Tangyuan, Spirit Boss, a big Pop Blossom rather, as now Shun actually able to pop some damage back, and they didn't have to follow up there. And now Yagao could just pick them apart. On's looking, but getting stopped by the clone. All you need is time right now, and all BLG need is Yagao to start picking off RNG. That's the dragon fight actually won by BLG in a scrappy manner.
And BLG, they diffused the situation perfectly without a single man dropping. And like you said, Shun picking up that third dragon for them as well. I mean, there's a reason why BLG is one of the best team fighting teams we have in the entire world. And it's how slow and how disciplined they are when approaching these huge 5v5s. You see the initial engage from the supports, the hook landing onto LvMao. And it was an angle of RNG forcing the 4v5 towards the weaker side of BLG. But with Shun's ultimate getting dropped, Yagao goes untouched this entire fight because he just utilizes his mobility so well that LP is just consistently under harass from this LeBlanc. And look at the health bars. That's static shiv, baby.
Yeah, and if they stayed any longer, that was going to be kills going to Yagao too. So at least RNG show a little bit of temperament. They do back away to losing fight, but it is something that's going to get a little scarier as time goes on. It is still a double marksman composition with the Kindred and the Xayah, and a lot of pick out potential there as well.
No, Mazel. Once this graphic goes down, On has a quick silver slash. He has a QSS on Blitzcrank. He is a madman, and I absolutely support this decision. Just look at the amount of CC that RNG has in their composition. And honestly, BLG, their realistic engage is through the Blitzcrank hook. So he has to be in the front, and he has to be the one tanking whatever LvMao throws at him. So he's cooking something up, and I just love this so much.
It's so cool too, right? Like, I know I was talking earlier about seeing BLG opt into a lot of the strengths of Shun, but it's also just been a stellar rate of growth from On, and a lot of confidence built up in him by the team. And those little stories, those moments are so cool to see, right? You see him being very interactive. You see him being very vocal. Him and Shun always monkeying around. But the fact that in this kind of game, he is literally their saving grace here, right? Like, he is the one that has to start it, and he also has to be the one to lock it down. And that's a little bit of, at least, given over to On, because it's something where confidence is not gained, but earned.
Yeah, and I remember his iconic MSI interview. I believe it was Yunsu asking him, what would you like the audience to remember you for? And his iconic line or response was that I want the audience to remember me to be more than just a handsome support that is making those flashy plays. But there's a reason why the audience and the fans have given him such a title, because he's just such a fun player to witness, while Yagao having the Dark Harvester. One more order is going to finish up the deal.
Yagao with a solo bolo on the breathe. Give him the little emo too, and it is off to the races for Yagao on this LeBlanc. He already has that Night Harvester, and there is nothing you can do in the side lane.
Once again, RNG's composition, it's really hard to lock down either the Kindred or the LeBlanc in these team fights, as it's just incredibly hard without the target CC like a Vi or the Nautilus in your composition. Wei throws the ult out.
There's that Quicksilver. Hey, it comes into use. As Yagao already barreling down the bot lane tier 2, that's even more gold given over to him.
Where have I seen this before?
He's going to be getting close to a third item now here.
Oh, TP from Bin?
That is Bin joining. He will have the Dominus. He's going to go ahead and pop it. Yagao's coming to join as well, but Bin's already gone. Pop Blossom right back. Moonlight Vigil combo onto Shun, but he won't go down just yet. He's trying to take out Lamb's Respite comes through. Yagao's trying to poke him out, but it's actually a pick-apart fight by RNG. It's Breathe takes down Odd under turret, and the turret goes down as well. RNG, they show they got teeth.
BLG were a bit too ambitious with that play. The fight was all over the place with Bin just going in 1v5, now 0-2 and 0 on this Renekton. That's a free Baron going over towards RNG, and that's exactly what they needed to come back into the game when Yagao was just happily taking towers in the side.
Yeah, Yagao's just sitting there like guys? what's going on, guys? As we're actually going to get the
we're just going to get Tangyuan's POV of his top laner getting solo killed by Yagao. Come on, man. Come on, observers. We get the TP, I believe, from... Wait, it's quite literally the POV of Tangyuan watching his top laner die.
It literally was.
But it's the TP coming out of Bin 2 times in a row. We're a little bit too ambitious from this Renekton, but with Yagao harassing LP once again, LP was forced to flash forward, but this fight was so split all over the place. The ultimate from Shun only went towards himself, where that is one of the biggest abilities to save your team from dying from the RNG squad. However, with this Baron getting picked up, they can kind of respond in terms of the macro play. And BLG's composition, they can't throw too many times because they need these mid-game advantages, or their late-game composition isn't going to work too well for them.
Yeah, I like to see Breathe able to answer back to Yagao a little bit in the side lanes. We also see the Dragon going over to RNG, and that's actually soul point for them on a Mountain Soul. So pretty good, as they will have a bit of a timer to fight for the soul for themselves. Yagao looking at another tier 2 with that Demolisher proc. He gets it. My goodness, that's absolutely a third item for him. But we'll see if he can utilize that now that Trinity Force is there for Shun. They will be looking to take aggressive trades here.
You know what's extremely cursed? We have mages taking Demolish pretty much as default as that secondary rune nowadays. I believe I was watching JDG versus WE, and Knight went Demolish on Ahri as well, not going the static Shiv build, so they're just taking down these towers like it's nothing on the map. It does so much. I wouldn't be surprised if Riot considered to nerf it because of how much presence it's been getting in the recent patch of 13-12. But of course, I'm just a random caster in the world. I'm not a Rioter, so I don't know how to balance games. But at least Cassante's fallen down in priority just a little bit.
I definitely don't hear any saltiness in the Cassante. I will say a little highlight there in the midst of that. Shun got his 3rd mark, but the fact that he's only on 3 marks in 24 minutes, not great, and that actually shows the prowess of Wei, how he's been able to do a lot of the skirmishing that we said we wanted earlier on from him to deny Shun on this Kindred pick. But we just got a Lich Bane completed for Yagao, and that's another big item spike for BLG.
This is quite the interesting game scene for BLG to be in, because it is a relatively state of challenge, because they've never been behind at the 20-minute mark, considering the fact that they just threw over the Baron. Although still ahead in gold, RNG, they're sitting on Mountain Soul points, so they can play towards that win con. And BLG, if they don't have prior vision set up for these major objectives, it's really hard for On to land those hooks. I know he's a god at landing hooks, but he still needs some type of reliable vision to secure those hooks onto important carries, of course. So depending on how BLG's approach is, I mean, they need to play individual picks onto RNG, but without the flashes available, it might be a little bit hard.
And We did actually just get the Knight's Vow completed for LvMao, so a little bit of utility they provided from the Leona, but also on that other side of the coin, right? You're talking about how much On is going to need to be a presence and priority for BLG. I think LvMao can have a lot of good to say in these fights with a big solar flare and denying a lot of that forwardness that BLG have. They still have the blinders on. They still need to go forward. I think LvMao is going to be an incredible wall in this moment for RNG.
I'm honestly surprised that LP didn't go for a bit of lifesteal in his build. He has the GA picked up as that third item, but BLG, they don't have that much instant burst considering that you have the static Shiv LeBlanc to work off and they have a double 80 carry composition. So maybe something like the Vampiric Scepter could be considered for that fourth position or fourth item for this Aphelios, and that's when this Aphelios starts becoming a huge problem for BLG to deal with, because the LeBlanc, I mean, the longer the game goes on, I feel like this LeBlanc starts losing a bit of presence on the map.
I'm just saying, though, Elk is starting to wake up a little bit here as he hits this third item. That Lord Doms is going to shred RNG, and I think Xayah in this composition, especially with a lot of the tools that RNG is going to be looking to set up team fights with, can have pivotal blade callers to change the fight composition as well. Yagao's just still working away in the side lane. This is how BLG want to approach this, but RNG, they're just trying to farm up as much as possible for LP, and in between find picks with Wei and LvMao.
Because of Yagao's doings, look at the side lanes and how much priority they are getting through this 1-3-1 composition. It's really hard for RNG to rotate towards any of these major objectives. Look at the bottom vision control that On has. It's completely lit up. So that's exactly what On needs to work off to land those hooks, as RNG, all they can do is group up as a huddle of 4 and walk in together, as you just need to pray that either LvMao or Wei tanks that initial hook.
And this is a situation where RNG can give this, but I feel like if you're going to start losing a little bit of presence on the map, that can mean a lot of confidence gain for BLG. Yagao looking to just poke as much, but yeah, they could just try to make the flip play here. There's a lot of options on the table.
They see all 4 members on these wards placed down by On. From previous exchange, they had the double 80 carry composition. They can just sneak this
RNG
Baron.
want it. They want it. They're going in. They try to get Elk there, but he did have the Featherstorm plus the Flash. So RNG's engage goes wide, but
Yagao,
they got
man.
the Elk points. Yeah, that's really rough to see that, but they have to. They have to do it because they can't catch him. He's literally a slippery fish in the side lane. If you go to chase him, you're just spending time doing that.
Yeah, we have 4 people committing to this Dragon Soul for RNG, but without Breathe here and no Leona ultimate, how are they going to engage?
Oh, the hook connects Pop Blossom right back, though, and they are angry that you tried to catch him out. The Lamb's Respite does come through, as it is Shun that controls the Dragon. He goes over the wall and buys a little bit of time, gets a mark back for himself, too, I believe, as it is still, though, LP, who ends up getting his GA pop. Luckily, he bought that here, has been able to survive that little bit of a fight. Yagao still pushing in the side. Bin still looking to fight, still going in.
Oh my lord!
And that's an angry crocodile. Don't you dare step to Giga Bin. He's looking for more too. That's 2. Bring on a 3rd, but Breeze shuts down the croc and makes a little bit of boots out of him. Yagao's trying to lock him down, but it's one more available hit from Breathe that could take down Yagao. Tries to get the play with the leap strike. He's still looking. He's still searching, but can't find it. This is a bloody game, Kitty.
Time and time again, Bin can't keep getting away with this, with these insane outplays on the Renekton. Yagao on this LeBlanc trying to get away from Breathe, but he is buying so much time for the timers to come back from BLG. And they're going to get vision control for this upcoming Baron. They deny the Baron angle away from RNG.
I think I just saw Breed's ankles break live on screen right there. We see On getting the chase down here. Doesn't have any vision. Now he does. Elk here as well. The TP's coming down. RNG know that this is a definite tempo swing in their advantage. There's a counter strike. Elk stepped too far forward. He doesn't have anything. He just has the feather storm. It's not enough.
My god.
The bird's not there, and the Pop Blossom comes through from RNG. Shun wants to step up, but there's nowhere to step. And RNG actually want to take this back. They have a big fight here on their hands. They get a catch out on the Bin as well. Shouldn't step it up, but that is a lot of members of RNG around the corner there. You don't want that fight. As
And
BLG
the
back
insane
away.
thing is that Breathe had that Zhonya's available clutched from Elk's feather pullback. Although living on 1 HP, maybe he calculated it perfectly. Bin has the GA here though. And RNG, they can't start the Baron because of Yagao's presence in these team fights. And that Shun's alive, so they can't flip it.
They're just going to start it up here. See if Shun wants to go in for a little bit of fun. See if we get some burger flip in action. As it's 2,000 health, should go down to RNG. BLG want nothing of it. A Baron secured by Royal Never Give Up. The Solar Flare tried to go predict Yagao as the Lamb's Respite comes out, get a little bit of healing back.
What just happened in the past 5 minutes? I think we just had fight up to TP and then fight again and the Baron. That's pretty much.
That's
we
the
went from
LPL, baby.
Mountain Soul going towards RNG as Elk gets instantly one-shot by the side of RNG, and it's huge setup from Tangyuan as well, and it's the ultimate from Kindred. Didn't catch everyone, specifically Elk, as red and white for the side of LP. It really looks like a fight for RNG to take over BLG, and then they would just naturally gravitate towards that Baron buff, but this outplay from the Renekton, the Gorge Ring, the Conqueror, they're all stacked up and he heals so much. And the unfortunate thing is, LP ran out of the red chakrams and he had to switch to the purple gun and doesn't do damage anymore.
The insane thing there for me is that Bin, as soon as he saw LP, you're mine. That instantly the thought was, I'm killing this guy. And I love that, man. This guy has been flexing on people. It has been awesome to see. I've loved his interactions with the community. I've loved his interactions at MSI, but he's also able to just put up on the Rift every single time. And it's been a serious strength for BLG to play around.
Mazel, I've done a goofball. It does seem like BLG denied the 4th Mountain Soul Dragon, and Shun got it apparently from that insane 5v5. I mean, it doesn't matter who the Baron goes, the Dragon goes to. That fight was absolutely mechanics max coming out of the two top laners as Yagao just once again putting so much press all the ultimates.
That's a Featherstorm burn though, and actually now re-engaged by RNG. They catch him out with the Pop Blossom. That's a Lamb's Respite coming out, and LP gets caught in the side here. It is still, though, RNG a favorite fight. Bin trying to get out the slice and dice. I don't think he can make it out, though. Does have the GA. Does BLG want to try to come save him over here? Should be a cutout Croc, but Elf, he does a lot of damage with the Lord Doms. He's able to try to get away, but it's too far of a step up in RNG. They capitalize again. It was actually Yagao trying to push down the side. Now they're trying to stop the backs here. Maybe get Elk a little bit of something as Flash comes through, and Yagao looking for a deep flank. He's on the way.
There's no vision though, so they don't know that there's 3 members in that bush.
Oh, they're going in, Yagao. He gets locked out. He just wanted to try to kill Wei, but he can't.
I feel like if they just played it a little bit slower, they could have looked for an angle onto this final dragon that RNG so desperately need to kind of get into their pockets. But respect to the bottom lane of BLG, they were just 2v3 in that entire exchange. But now RNG with the resets from the Baron recall, they're going to look for this final dragon. Shun is just going to give up on this and look for the, I believe, mark on the top side. I feel like this composition that BLG locked in for the game 1, it's slowly falling apart.
It is. They needed a lot of momentum to carry them. It was like trying to hit a ramp with the car, see how far you fly. Well, they're running out of ramp room here. I don't know if they've got enough. I don't know if they got enough momentum. As we see Wei trying to catch that out, this is what started it all off.
Yeah, it's very straightforward for RNG. Just keep forcing 5v5s before Yagao starts attacking those Nexus towers, as Breathe can't really handle the Blanc on the side. As at the end, it was a 1-for-2 trade, I believe. Bin also fell down, although having the GA in his pockets. Wei got so incredibly low. BLG, they just have this aggression built into them where they are looking for every single angle possible. And I really respect that. They were also trying to cancel the Baron recall to allow Yagao to rotate and look for potential picks, but played a little bit too fast on the LeBlanc, and especially without that vision available.
A little too fast and a little too furious, but not the franchise. Now we are looking back for RNG onto the map. And it is something where they can start playing with a little bit more advantage. They have 4 items now on LP. We were waiting for that Lord Doms. There it is. And you have a lot of strength in that team fight that we were building up from the draft, Kitty.
Yeah, and these items, I mean, 4 items for LP, and also the whole breaker getting picked up for Breathe. So potentially this could be where Breathe finds that slight edge up against the LeBlanc if he gets a sneaky flash stun onto him, as Yagao won't be too careful. Without that flash available, 3 people wrapping around here.
Glacial Prison does go out, so it'll be a nice little cooldown burn by Yagao. Again, if you chase him too much, you will cede a lot of pressure around the map. He's very slippery, even without the flash. Got it coming back up, so you know he's going to play a little bit more aggressive after that one. It was RNG trying to deploy to his side. This is something where Yagao with TP, if set up correctly with the right warding, can just end the game if RNG get caught out on the rift too long. So it's something they have to consistently stress about.
Exactly, as you see BLG, I mean, Elk and On are just going to be sitting in the mid lane and trying to deny any engage angles from the side of RNG. They're the ones getting desperate because BLG, they're trying to execute this 1-3-1 composition through the LeBlanc and work towards those inhibitor towers. But with the Baron up and available, RNG, they need to be careful because you see Yagao already going towards that top side as they don't have any vision on this Baron. So with the Kindred and of course the Xayah, they can realistically sneak this away.
It'll be a pretty quick one too, because you still do have to worry about double marksman comps at later points of the game. Even if to some extent you can find ways to upend that with a lot of tankiness and engage, which RNG do have. But you need to look at actually the vision that's being played through for RNG up here. A lot of presence in mid lane by BLG, but it's the roaming death squad right now that Royal Never Give Up are opting into.
Yagao back again towards that top side. On, you don't want to be going in there, buddy.
On. Oh, goodness. The Puff Blossom with the combos, and the Lamb's Respite's not going to save you today. On bit the dust, and that just means that engage, that crucial point for BLG is gone.
And they gave over what RNG was looking for, that individual pick. Now starting up the Brand as well. They need someone to base, as Yagao's just going to end the game. Shun's going to harass them here.
I'm surprised Ben isn't trying to stop Breathe from backing right now. Yagao could literally end the game if he had stopped him. He was trying to look for him, but he went into the tri-push. Shun is trying to fight them under the Baron, but it was already secured by RNG. He had a Nexus tower that almost went down, and Breathe is trying to answer Yagao. You can't get the counter-strike there, but Yagao's getting chased down now. Breathe wants it. The chain connects, though, and this means Yagao should make it out.
With the flash available as well, I'm pretty sure Breathe isn't going to be catching up to this LeBlanc anytime soon, but that was such unfortunate pathing from Bin, desperately trying to spot out where Breathe was backing to deny this base protection from this Jax. But fortunately for the side of BLG, they were able to get 2 inhibitors, but with the Baron getting picked up by RNG, they're not going to be able to really walk out of their own bases. They have no priority whatsoever on the sides.
I don't know what you do. You literally walk out. Your base explodes, but if you don't walk out, they start just taking everything. Like, it's such a terrible position to be in. Feels like you're in the Saw movie at this point. RNG are the victims.
And especially with the Elder, it is going to be an Elder for this game 1. We're approaching 40 minutes for this series, but with double inhibitors down, RNG, they can't step up. Elk has the cleanse.
This would be big. This would be big if you get a little preempted engage. You can catch somebody out, make it an unmanned fight. It forces BLG's hand. They do get the Featherstorm. They will have to revisit that one, but that is a bit of a lower cooldown than the flash, and he didn't have to burn that.
I feel like RNG, I mean, you just constantly have to consider the fact that Yagao is just going to be pressuring the side lanes while you already see LvMao desperately trying to get engaged. A hook lands!
LP gets hooked. He's at full items now, though, and he's trying to pop back here as well.
Oh my
just
God,
gets wrecked here as Lamb's Respite came out too late. Look at LP firing away. He ain't got the chakrams. He's got literal cannons.
Not too sure why On was looking for those angles as you had Yagao slowly getting pressure. You already see 2 people rotating towards this top side, but now with the Elder spawning 40 seconds and no support for this BLG roster, they're gonna just confirm the vision control.
They're pinging on the Nexus. RNG are pinging on the Nexus right now.
They're looking to end. They don't have the Kindred ultimate. They can look for a huge wombo combo here.
They realize that if they are forced to the Elder fight, this gives Yagao room to end the game. There's TP available for Ben too. They could just try and get in the base, but they can't make it work. They can't finish the game because the resets came through for BLG.
It is going to be an Elder flip. You already have Yagao on such a great angle towards the back, but Breathe, I mean, he has that TP available as RNG are the ones with the vision control towards his bottom side.
They have to catch somebody out. They have to force Yagao away from the side lane. He will literally just end the game, and he's looking to start it up right now. I mean, he has 2 super minions that are coming down the bottom lane. And this is RNG, backs against the wall. Breathe can make the difference here, and I think he's just done it. Meanwhile, RNG, LvMao gets caught though, and out gets the kill. Pop Blossom right back, but it's just a one. And they go golden though, Tangyuan buying a lot of time. Shun is firing away. The double marksman comp is starting to come alive here, and you're starting to get Elk firing away as well with those feathers setting up. It's a little bit of a split fight. I love this camera. Yagao still fighting Bin on the backline on Tangyuan, and BLG have wiped the fight. Yagao is still pressuring. LP actually steps up. He's full items here as well, but he gets locked down by Bin. And Shun try to take out Tangyuan. Can't catch him. It's the clones, but BLG show they ain't done. They're scrappy as hell.
And with Shun being one of the survivors for BLG, they're looking to start the Elder, but Breathe has something to say about this.
Can't stop, won't stop. The LPL always delivers as Breathe will shut down BLG in front of the Elder. He has the hole breaker and he ain't stopping anytime soon. He goes golden, trying to stop away from the combo of BLG, but Yagao, he wants a little bit of blood. He wants a little bit of menace.
Look at
the TP because Tangyuan is trying to end the game. Bin has arrived, though, and I don't think he can finish it. That's one Nexus turret for one Nexus turret, and the LPL delivers.
And the Elder Dragon is still up for grabs as we have people coming off these death times. This game is absolutely insane. We have the super minions swarming into the RNG base. They need to respond to this, and BLG, they can utilize this time frame to start up the Elder.
This is such a push and pull here. It's like a chess match going on. Both teams have made lasting damage onto each other's bases. One Nexus turret remains. But it is all about the side lane play. It's all about being pulled and not breaking. As Yagao needs to be a little bit careful on his own. BLG are right in front of that Elder Dragon, but RNG have showed up. They're trying to clear out some vision.
And we're back in the same situation once again, but bottom side. Here is a slow pushing wave. The hook doesn't land.
Okay, On had that Quicksilver Sash, though. That's actually pretty big. And now, actually, going back in, Elk gets the Featherstorm out. The cleanse comes through, but he is ripping LvMao apart. Bin looking at a flank here. He's trying to build up some rage with that dominance. Gotta be a little bit careful because LP is still big. Yagao takes an inhib over there. The Elder Dragon, though, that's the biggest thing. Pop Blossom goes away. They're trying to distract. They're focusing the Elder. They get it. No, it's going the RNG wave. They can take some resets here. The Lamb's Respite's pretty big. The Elder Dragon isn't going to be enough. LP gets locked down. Way! He shows up big when RNG needs him most. And the General waves his sword around.
And Yagao is still alive. He's going to cut down Wei's escape from this fight, but are they going to get this final kill into BLG's pocket? He makes it!
Oh, he knows.
Oh,
he knows.
He's been juked?
Oh, look at
Oh my god, he just dodges the vision perfectly. Wei's out of the team fight, but that's double Elder for both Breathe and Wei. He's looking to end, but with the Baron up and available, I don't think he's going to be able to find the end here because Shun's still clearing the wave.
I mean, he's got Holtbreaker. Does he just go for the end? He can just walk through here. He's going for it. Breathe. He's looking for Shun. He's got the Elder Dragon, but he's on to the Nexus. Breathe. He's trying to finish it. It's not enough, though. There is a denial, and it will come of the way of Yagao. 1,000 goals shut down to the LeBlanc.
This past 5 minutes has probably been the best sequences of events in the LPL summer so far, but we still have the Baron up and available as top lane inhibitor has been taken away by Yagao as well. So BLG with this open base, they need to sweep for wards as Breathe has that TP available. They can't realistically be too far out of their own base.
They're going down. And as we cross the 43-34 mark, we are officially in the longest game of the LPL, and it is not done yet. We got fights across the board. Elk is firing away. He's a bit untouched, but LP connects a Calibrum. LP starting to fire him out, and that's a double kill for Elk, but it's a huge turnaround for LP, and we got blood everywhere here.
Breathe death timer on 12 seconds and has that TP available. LvMao can just place the ward in the mid lane and Jax ends the game. Yagao needs the back key.
This is insane, and there's the TP. They want to finish this here and now. They don't want any finickiness as the hook actually connects. No, LvMao gets caught here, but Breathe. He connects on a Shun. The Lamb's Respite comes out. Look at LP, though. Look at LP. He's doing so much work. He gets blasted by Shun, and the mark goes over. And that's the problem when you're facing a double marksman comp, is you got two sources of damage every time.
And the game continues, but we have death timers coming up in around 10 seconds for 2 members for the side of RNG. There's a huge top wave for Bin to TP to, as he can consistently just pressure this end, but I'm pretty sure BLG, they're going to secure themselves a Baron as the Nexus survive for another 2 minutes.
We're already in the longest game, and we are 2 kills away from the most kills, and what a fitting way to come into week number 7. Look at the blood, look at the guts, they're all over the rift here, and it is a thrilling battle, and an RNG who truly never give up in a series, in a season, where they need every win possible coming in here to the last week.
All eyes on LP if you are an RNG fan, because this guy has to survive these team fights if you want RNG to finally hit that Nexus. But with the inhibitor respawning now, they no longer have the option of looking for a full-on backdoor through this Jax or the Nico, who does have the TP available, but it does seem like it's going to be a full-on 5v5 brawl if any of these teams want to take game 1.
And look at this, Elk has sold the boots, full 6 items here, still waiting on that for LP if he wants to, but look at RNG, they are grouping, they don't care if Breathe had that whole breaker, though they catch out Breathe here. We do have a backline access from Yagao, who's just looking to poke in, but this 5-man comp, RNG could just force the end here if they get a catch out. Elk's caught. Elk might go down to LP, though. He's getting traded. No, it's not. The Calibrum, it's no. The Severum is actually going to heal him back to full in the middle of the fight. And it's Shun with the Lamb's Respite. It's not enough. And RNG, that's 3 kills for Breathe. In a moment to step up, RNG do a quadra kill for Breathe and a game 1 victory for RNG.
Hands down, the best LPL regular split game I've ever witnessed this year. And RNG delivered with that final push towards the BLG Nexus, and with the quadra kill going towards Breathe on this